everyone, my name is Miranda. I'm a doula and the owner and founder of Wild Child Birthing. If you're not familiar with me and haven't seen any of my other videos, welcome. I'm glad you're here. If you're a returning viewer or a follower on my Instagram, I'm happy you're here as well. Today's video is on my endometriosis toolbox. I got a few tips here for you, some things that I found useful as an endometriosis warrior myself, just some things that some of the research has said could improve any cramps, nausea, contractions, lower back pain, or the plethora of symptoms that you could have. Endometriosis is basically just like tissue that should be on the inside of the uterus and it's growing on the outside, or it could be growing on the fallopian tubes or the cervix or the ovaries, even the bowels or the bladder. Endometriosis has been found all over the place, but basically just think about it. The endometrium is the tissue that is inside the uterus. This is like where a baby would be growing. That's what they're laying on essentially, and when you have a period it sheds and comes out of the vagina. Well, that tissue can grow in other places unfortunately, and it can be extremely painful. It can cause really bad periods, heavy bleeding, but it's not just a bad period. Like some people think that endometriosis is just a bad period. It gets a lot more than that. Think like contractions. I have contractions all the time where my uterus just does this and I can't breathe for like a solid minute or so. I can't talk and I'm doubled over, and then I come back and I'm fine. Sometimes it presents itself in extreme nausea, really bad cramps, lower back pain, boob pain, really bad headaches, you name it. And there are other people who have different symptoms. It really presents itself in a lot of ways, and there are some people out there who have endometriosis and have no clue. It really is strange because you could have endometriosis all over your uterus and not even know about it. And the way people do find out about it often is that they're trying to get pregnant and they're having infertility issues, which endometriosis is a huge cause of infertility issues. And they go in, they have a surgery to remove all this endometriosis, and they're like, wow, I had no idea I even had it. And then you have some people who only have 1 or 2 spots of endo. They are in the most excruciating pain. When I went in and had my laparoscopy done, they found 2 spots of abnormal endometriosis. It was brown in color, so it was a bit different than what they typically find. And I was shocked that there was only 2 spots. I thought my whole uterus would be covered in it, but it really is interesting that it's not necessarily a correlation of pain. Anyway, I can tell my story a whole other time. March is Endometriosis Awareness Month, so I think I'll probably do 1 or 2 more videos on the topic. But today I just want to go over a few of my toolkit options if you or a friend or a loved one is experiencing endo pain. What can you do about it? My first tip is a heating pad. I have gone through millions of these things and I probably use one almost every night, but I like a big one so that it really can cover your entire stomach. You can lower it down, cover your abdomen, your uterus. I've definitely done it on my lower back as well. It really just depends, but I would definitely recommend a long, big sized heating pad that you can adjust the heat with, have different options. And the one that automatically shuts off, because sometimes I'll just have to, it's the only way I can fall asleep is I'm in so much pain. So I'll just set it and it can shut off after 2 hours when I'm asleep. This thing is probably my #1 recommendation if you do anything from this list. For me, the heating pad is the only thing that gives me some temporary relief. #2, a symptom tracker. I talked about this in my last video about ways that you can just keep your reproductive health system healthy in general, but I think it's especially important for people with endometriosis to track their symptoms. What makes things better? What makes things worse? Is it worse when you eat this kind of food? Is it better when you eat this kind of food? Is it better when you go for a run, or is it worse when you go for a run? Track what you're doing throughout the day, track how your pain is and what kind of pain. Was it cramping, contractions, nausea? What kind of feelings were you experiencing, and is there any correlation here? And a lot of times you can take these kind of symptom trackers. There's a lot of really great apps out there. I've used Spot On, which is probably my favorite one so far. But you can take this tracker with you when you go to see your OBGYN and explain, like, hey, here's the data that I've collected for you, essentially. Alright, number 3, some essential oils. I brought with me some of my favorites here. So clary sage is a really good one for menstrual cramps and uterus issues overall. This one I would highly recommend, clary sage. And then here I have a couple of blends. This one's from Lola, the company that does clean, quality tampons and pads, and I saw they just came out with a menstrual cup, and they've got condoms and lube. Anyway, just like clean ingredients. But this is a really good essential oil blend. I would highly recommend this one. And then this one I just got from Etsy actually, and it works super well. It's called End of Endo, and she made it specifically for me. So she did her research. So if you ever interested, you can reach out to people who really know their stuff about essential oils, and they can put together a really great blend for you. So a lot of times, like these roll-on ones, you know, you can just roll them right on to the place that's causing you problems. I love to do that, and then I love to add the heating pad on top. I think that that combination helps and does wonders. Number 4, a good yoga routine, or just some good poses to get into. So I did some pelvic floor physical therapy, which I'd highly recommend if you have endo to go see a pelvic floor physical therapist, and they can teach you that people with endo typically hold a lot of their tension in their abdomen. She taught me like how to sense that and relax it. So even when I'm just nervous about something, like everyone holds tension somewhere, I have typically held tension in my uterus, even if I'm not, you know, focused on endo itself. If I'm stressed about something else, a lot of times my stress will go directly to my abdomen. So how can I release tension there? That's a little off topic. Definitely if you are interested in seeing a pelvic floor physical therapist, I'd highly recommend it. But just some good poses, and that's one of the things that my physical therapist taught me, was some good yoga poses to get into. I try to do butterfly every night. I'm not always good about that, but she said, you know, being in that position for 15 to 20 minutes every day can really relax you. And if you aren't really interested in going to see a physical therapist or don't know a lot about yoga, there are so many great videos on YouTube that I would highly recommend going to check out, and you can specifically look up yoga for endometriosis or yoga for menstrual pain, and there are so many great options. So you can just go ahead and check it out and find some good poses or some good flows that can just get your body stretching and moving. Number 5, sweatpants. I think that this is just great for anyone, honestly. If you have endo, oftentimes you will get endo belly, and I will include a couple of pictures here. They were taken within a few minutes of each other. My stomach sometimes will just go up. I all of a sudden look like I'm a couple months pregnant. It's definitely been a source of discomfort for me. No one wants to be walking around looking like they're pregnant when they're not. When that happens, there's really no telling when it could happen. It could happen at any moment. And sometimes I'm out and about and I can't put sweatpants on, but if I'm at home, having a good pair of sweatpants that just are loose and forgiving and comfortable to your tummy, I couldn't recommend that more. Alright, number 6, ginger ale. Nausea often comes with endo, and ginger in any form is a really good natural anti-nausea fender-offer. That was not the right word. But it's really good to combat nausea. So if you want like ginger tea, ginger ale, ginger snaps, like anything with ginger in it, it's really good for fending off nausea. So I like to have ginger ale on hand when I can, and I've often reached for it when I'm feeling really nauseous. On that note, number 7, anti-nausea pills. I feel like I don't really go anywhere without anti-nausea pills. I have some like non-drowsy anti-nausea pills that I've got from my midwife, but sometimes I'll use like Dramamine, but that one will definitely make you tired. But it's something that you don't need a prescription for, so if you don't have a good relationship with your doctor, if you can't get a prescription pill, anti-nausea pills, you can get them at the grocery store, you can get them at Target, just like Dramamine or something like that. Sometimes like that nausea just hits you really hard and you have things to do, so you can just take a pill. It's kind of like taking ibuprofen for your headache or whatever. Alright, last one, number 8, a lot of resources. Honestly, I've tried a lot of different things. I've tried acupuncture, I've tried chiropractic care, I've seen lots of different doctors, I've tried the surgical route, I've read a lot of books. Ask Me About My Uterus by Abby Norman is a really great one, so I'd highly recommend reading that. Just reading like overall general books on reproductive health, I can recommend a few of those if anyone is interested. But just never stop learning, never stop trying things, asking for help, asking for resources. It's the best thing that I can recommend. Unfortunately, there is no cure to endo. It's still very much in its infancy in terms of research that is being done. So a lot of these things that I'm recommending are just things that I've experimented with, figured out, looked up YouTube videos of, looked up things on the internet of, and just kind of was like, okay, I'm going to give that a try. And what works for me might not work for you. Talk with each other, talk with doctors, midwives, and see what you can come up with for the best option for you, and just start to kind of pile together a lot of resources for yourself. Best of luck to you and your journey. Spread the word. This is a topic that really needs to be discussed more. 1 in 10 have endometriosis. It's pretty insane that a lot of people don't know about it, and it's because it's not talked about quite a lot, and it's because a lot of people don't know about it and there's not a lot of research done on it, which is really unfortunate. So spread the word, let's talk about it, let's make this way more common, and let's start to share things that work with you to other people so that we can start to kind of create this great base and community of things that might work for others. Take care, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!